Yes, ma'am.
Good morning to one and all present here. This is Vidya welcoming you all to the 5th day of this 1-week online short-term training program on research methodology. So today we have with us our eminent speaker, Dr.S.Vijayakumar, Assistant Professor of B.S.Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology in Chennai. We also have with us Dr. S. Manivanan, our Dean and Convener of this program, and Mr. Ganesh, who is the technical in charge of this program. So may I call upon our Dean, Dr. S. Manivanan, to welcome the gathering, please. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vidya. Good morning to one and all present here. It's again happiest day for me. 5th day of our STTP on research methodology. I'm really happy to see the encouragement shown, enthusiasm shown by our beloved participants. Today, the happiest day reporting scientific paper, structuring scientific paper or our experimentation paper, technical paper. That is going to be the topic dealt by our eminent speaker, Dr. Vijayakumar sir. Right now, sir is available with us. I welcome you, sir, for joining our session and accepting our invitation. Sir is joining from Crescent University, of course, right now. So it's one of the very good universities available in Chennai. Sir is working in this documentation area for a longer period. Such a eminent person addressing our research scholars, it's a great moment for all of us. Of course, I wanted to tell one more word about Dr. Vijayakumar sir. If we could listen to sir's conversation, we can forget about the timing also. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Vijayakumar sir. I am really used to love to attend his sessions, especially the second part of his session. He will be covering about the hands-on training to Mendeley software. Mendeley is, of course, open source, so free to use. This is something kind of connecting the references of our article. So this session is going to be yet interesting, yet useful. Of course, I request our beloved participants, how you have shown your interest on the previous sessions. Please pay attention and happy learning to all. Over to Vidya. Please, you can continue to this.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to introduce our eminent speaker. Dr. Vijayakumar is an assistant professor at B.S.Abdur of Crescent Institute of Science and Technology. He did his BA in English Literature from A.M. Jain College, University of Madras, B.Ed in English Language Teaching from University of Madras, MA English Literature from University of Madras, MPhil American Literature from Annamalai University, MA Linguistics from Annamalai University, TESOL Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages from International TESOL Accreditation Authority in Canada, and he did his doctorate in English Language Teaching from B.S.Abdur of Crescent Institute of Science and Technology. He has a total teaching experience of over 16 years. He started his career as a lecturer in Apollo Arts and Science Engineering College. He worked as an assistant professor in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, and currently he is an assistant professor in B.S.Abdur Crescent Institute of Science and Technology. He has attended over 29 international and national conferences, 25 workshops, and he has presented over 30 papers in national and international conferences. He was invited as the session chair in 4 international conferences and technical talks for 4. He's conducted 5 workshops and he's presented 12 video lectures. His publications, he has published his publications, his Focus Index journals 4, 3 international books, 2 co-authored books, 7 chapter publications, 8 conference publications, and 11 publications in international peer-reviewed journals. Some of his awards and achievements. He received Certificate of Excellence, Certified Peer Reviewer course by Elsevier, Outstanding Reviewer in JALT Call, a Scopus Index Journal, Springer Best Paper Presentation Award in International Conference on Learning and Teaching. He's a Certified Peer Reviewer in Publon's Academy, and he completed a collaborative book project on CAL with Department of Digital Humanities, University of Iowa. His research interests: blended learning, instructional design, and meta-analytic research. his other academic experiences, he is editing and proofreading services to the research scholars of B.S.Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, and he is a member of the editorial board in the international peer-reviewed journal English Language Teaching. Dr. Vijayakumar has his own YouTube channel under his name, where he posts videos and talks for improving communication skills. So on behalf of Dr. MGR Education and Research Institute, we really thank him for gracing us with his presence and wish him good luck for his future endeavors. So may I call upon Dr. Vijayakumar to take over the session, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm indeed quite humbled with the kind of a forensic analysis of my CV, because so far nobody has given such a kind of a comprehensive and forensic analysis. So I'm indeed grateful for
It's
that.
my honor.
So thank you for that, ma'am.
Sir, unfortunately, we are not able to play your intro video since this WebEx requires universal format, where most of our participants are not having that format installed in laptop. Probably in mobile phone it may come good. Because of that problem, we could not introduce you in a video. I pardon for that. And of course, that link will be sent to you as well as participants. Please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. However, it's been quite an overwhelming introduction, and I would like to thank Vidya ma'am once again for that. And
Thank you so much.
I'm indeed humbled to the kind of introduction given by Dr. Manivannan, sir. And as I said, it's indeed a pleasure for me to have any kind of research associations and these kind of talks.
Sure.
So that's a terrific opportunity given to me, which I would like to embrace. So I'm indeed thankful for that. And personally, at this juncture, though Ashwini ma'am is not here, I would like to thank her for roping me in. And I thank the system professional help for the system analyst by Dr. Ganesh at Question. So I thank everybody for this wonderful experience. So let me start by beginning just giving you a structure of what my talk is about and what I'm going to focus on. Initially, I would just like to focus on the nuances or the nitty-gritties of writing a research paper from the peer reviewer's perspective. What I can guarantee you is maybe 35 to 40 minutes of my initial talk on writing a research paper from the peer reviewer's perspective will not be a kind of entire gambit of an overview of a research paper. But however, I believe that this session will help you to avoid desk rejection. So, because that is the first achievement. When you write a research paper to a highly indexed journal like Web of Science or Scopus, and if it is not desk rejected, then you have done a great job. So, how to write a paper according to the expectations of the editor is one of my fundamental premises or the basic tenets of my presentation. And then I'll just move on to the subtle nuances of what to put into every section. So I don't want it to be a talk. What I would like to do is, as I just present, I want to take you on a kind of a visual journey where the prerequisite is, I want all the research scholars to think about the topic you are working, and whatever we are discussing, I want you to visualize and place the ambit of the arguments under every head. So it is going to be a kind of a mapping that we are going to do. And what I want researchers to do is not a kind of a talk, because talk will fizz out quickly. But what I want to do is I want you to practically implement, maybe mentally. Then probably I'll just share with you certain worksheets on how you can practically implement it on paper. So it's going to be a practical experience. Having said that, let me just move on to one final thing. If somebody were to ask me what is the stupidest thing that I ever did in research, I would definitely say that it is citing papers manually. Because, when I did my research, I used to cite papers manually, whether any format. If I'm writing a journal paper in APA format or an MLA format or a Harvard format or Chicago format, I used to manually cite it. Suppose if my paper is rejected and I'm trying for another journal, then accordingly I will change all my citations to that particular journal manually. But after working on Mendeley, I can assume that how much of time I have lost. Probably I could have written more papers during the time. So the stupidest thing that every researcher could ever do is to cite the paper manually. So these are the two agendas today. Agenda 1, the nitty-gritties of technical writing, and agenda 2, how to use Mendeley. Mendeley has a lot of features. It is probably very difficult to encapsulate or distill the essence of all the features in a 20-minute presentation, but whatever is absolutely essential, whatever is indispensable, let me present to you. So having said that, having these two agendas, let me now start my presentation. I hope the participants can view my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Technical research writing, to begin with, I think these two visuals very much encapsulate the essence of what technical writing is all about. Maybe let me put it in the slideshow mode. Yes. See, look, at these two cartoons, agreed, we fund only those proposals which we can understand. And look at the next one. Thank you for your submission. If you are interested, we will be in touch. So this is the essence of my talk. See, everybody can write research papers. Everybody can write. A beautiful preamble was given by the dean, Dr. Manivannan, who said that many people can write, but when it comes to writing, they document what they write in the spoken style. Actually, writing is a different cup of tea altogether. And we are going to focus what are the ingredients of that cup of tea. So it's unlike speaking what is writing and how to write. So this is what I'm going to present. So, dear research scholars, or wherever you are from, which university you are, what I'm going to present is from a peer reviewer's perspective, because I'm a peer reviewer to one of Springer Nature journals, and I have also undergone a lot of peer reviewers course, and we have been trained to what to look in a paper. So, what are the expectations? So, let me initially focus on how to write a great, enticing, appropriate, riveting, and gripping title. And then what are the different kinds of research? One simple tip is every research scholar may think only about writing a journal paper, which is actually a full-length paper. But it is always advisable for him to start his career in the first 2 years, come out with a review paper. There are different kinds of review, like systematic review, which is around 40 pages. And then the other is a meta-analytic review. Again, you need a lot of professional expertise to write. But as beginning researchers, we can try scooping review, where 10 to 12 pages of what is happening in your field. So that is an easy option to publish rather than focusing on a journal publication. So we are going to focus on kinds of research, like how to write a paper, journal paper, how to write a scooping review, how to write a meta-analytic review, how to write a systematic review, and how to communicate research communication, how to write journal review. So there are different types. But what we are going to do is, for all these types, there is a common pattern. There is a common framework. There is a simple matrix, scalable matrix. We are going to work on the matrix. Regardless of what you do, there is only one format. What is that format? I am going to tell you what the format is. I am going to show you the format. I want you to place your research agenda into that format. Thirdly, I'm going to discuss about some of the strategies of writing an abstract and how to write keywords. And then I'll move on to IMRAD format. This is called the international format for writing a research paper. Introduction, methods, results, discussion. And then how to write appealing tables and appealing figures. And ultimately, we'll move on to the reference management tool. So this is a kind of a broad agenda that I have for my today's talk. So, as I said, let me just begin with some of the technical aspects. Of this presentation. What are the topmost rejections of topmost reasons for manuscript rejection in any journal, whether it is Elsevier, Wiley, Routledge? What is the topmost reasons? So before we write our paper, we should understand what are the topmost reasons for manuscript being rejected. One, the manuscript may fall outside the scope of the journal. So what is my practical tip? My practical tip is many research scholars write a paper, then choose the journal, according to the requirements of the journal, they just send the paper, which is a cardinal mistake. First, you have to choose your journal, and then you have to download some benchmark papers from the journal. Based on exactly that format, you have to replicate your paper. So first you have to make sure if your research falls under the ambit of that particular journal. And second practical tip is never communicate to a multidisciplinary journal because you may not get citations. It is always better to publish in domain specific journal. For example, if your field is psychology, then psychology. If your field is attention deficiency, journals are attention deficiency. If your field is dyslexia, on dyslexia. If your field is blended learning, journals on blended learning. So for every topic, there are a lot of journals. So practical tip one, don't communicate to a multidisciplinary journal, communicate to a domain specific journal. Practical tip two is first understand the requirements of the journal, download benchmark papers, download highly cited papers, have that as a reference. Based on that, you prepare your paper, or else your paper may be rejected. Tip one. Tip two, your many times manuscript is rejected because it does not follow the IMRAD format. I'll tell you what IMRAD format is. I stands for introduction, how to write an introduction. M stands for method, and then R stands for results. A is just and discussion. D stands for discussion. I will explain each of these segments in detail very clearly. Another reason why the manuscript is rejected is your language and grammar are not up to the mark. Of course, that is not the focus of our session. And then the fourth one is how to have appealing figures and tables. And most importantly, the bottom line is references are incomplete or out of date. Or sometimes the references may not only be incomplete, may not be properly cited. So we are actually going to follow a benchmark to avoid that. And finally, plagiarism. This is also the reason for instant manuscript rejection, or what we call as disk rejection. So there is a reason, your paper can be rejected for the following reasons. But our scope is only two. One is how to write an international paper following the IMRAD format. Why IMRAD format? Because whatever technical writing you do, whether it is a full-length paper, whether it is a meta-analytic review, whether it is a scooping review, whether it is a systematic review, whether it is research communication, whether it is short communication, whatever you write, you will follow IMRAD format. So I'm going to focus on that very quickly. So 8 tips. Let us first focus on how to write an appealing title for your paper. So there are 8 tips to write a title, but since we have only 1 hour, maybe I just want you to see later, follow these 8 parameters of using a title, because certain things in the presentation I will skip and leave it for the reader's understanding, because I will focus many things practically. For that reason, I want you to take a look at this slide later. But there are 8 tips. If you follow those 8 tips, definitely you can write an appealing title. Let me focus on some samples here. See, whenever you write a topic of your research paper, the topic should have keywords. I will give you a practical tip. Let us say you are doing a research on online learning. What are the keywords in the field? To find out what are the keywords, again, you have to look at highly cited papers, see the keywords they are using. Practical tip 2, there is a particular site called ProQuest Keyword Search. They have a list of keywords for all topics. For example, if your area is multimedia, go to ProQuest Keyword Search and look at all the keywords in multimedia. See what keywords best fit your research context and use those keywords in your topic. So we are starting off with a topic. Your topic should have at least 1 or 2 keywords. That is tip 1. Tip 2, your topic should talk about the design. For example, if you are talking about a qualitative study or a quantitative research or a mixed methods approach or an intervention design or an experimental design, whatever is your method, you should bring your method in your paper. So I have given you 2 or 3 samples. These samples are more than 1,000 citations. That is why I picked these samples to show you. Look at these samples. Nanostructured implants for improved bone recuperation among accident victims. See, these are the kind of implant, because the research paper is going to talk about the implant, and the research paper is going to talk about nanostructured implants. The research paper focuses on bone recuperation after fractures, and especially it talks about accident victims, not fracture in geriatrics, not fractures because of old age. So the paper is a very focused paper. So it has absolutely appropriate keywords. So my tip is use keywords, correct keywords. The reason why you should use correct keywords is your paper will be highly cited. Number two, another important practical tip is your topic should definitely not be more than 16 words. Take any highly cited paper. It will not be more than 16 words according to the APA guidelines. So you look at your journal requirement. Remember these practical tips when you write a sample topic. So my agenda 1, how to write a topic. Done. We'll move to agenda 2. Agenda 2 is how to write an abstract. So I'm following a linear format. Now I'm just going to make you to visualize. Whoever is listening to my talk, I want you to choose the research that you are doing. Different people may have different research areas. Most of you may be doing on engineering, on STEM education, or on educational technology, on medicine. Whatever you do, whether it is science, technology, engineering, or medicine, take your research topic. Have you taken your research topic? After taking your research topic, tentatively have that research topic with you. Okay, because now I am going to take you on a journey where you are going to do a research. Not now, but you are going to apply these principles. A, after the session, you write your tentative topic, your tentative research topic. See if your topic has the absolutely correct keywords. Is your research clearly focusing on the keywords? Because what I am talking now has an implication on how you are going to pick references also. I will show you. So A, choose a research topic. B, write a topic. Make sure your topic has at least 1 or 2 keywords. If it's not clear how to use keywords, make a keyword search in any of the search engines and choose keywords. These are the 2 things which we have discussed today. How to write an appealing title. Okay, I mean how to write keywords. Now let us go on to abstract 3. This is third, agenda 3. See, abstract. Usually we should write an abstract finally after the end of the paper. But before you begin a paper, you will prepare a tentative abstract. Abstract is like a movie teaser. A 3-hour movie, just imagine the quintessence of the movie. If it is crystallized in just 2 seconds, the value of teaser you will know before you watch a movie. So abstract is like a teaser of a movie. It is like a blueprint to your, publication. Let's say you are constructing a big building. You will definitely have a blueprint. How many rooms you should have. So likewise, your abstract is a clear blueprint of your research. So how to write an abstract? Now, A, you have chosen your tentative topic, researchers. B, you just have an abstract. Let me show you your abstract. The reason why many papers are rejected is because of the abstract itself. Because all reviewers, editors will first read the abstract, and only then they will decide whether to read your full paper or not. So abstract has a lot of value. Now, what are the things that an abstract should do? See, I would have given you by the end of the talk a practical framework. Point 1, in your abstract, you should say what has already been done in the field. For example, I'm doing research on online education. I will say a lot of research has already been done on online education. But however, people have not compared traditional education to online education. So A, say what has been done in your area, in your abstract. B, say what has yet not been done. And C, A, what has already been done. B, what has not been done. C, what are you doing that has not been done? Which means, how are you going to fill the gap? This has to be clearly mentioned in an abstract. What has so far been done, what has not been done, and why are you doing that? You are doing that in order to fill in that research gap. So make a clear distinction in your abstract about what has already been done, what has not been done, and what you are going to do. And if it is not there in the abstract, it is definitely a desk rejection. And secondly, you should also see in your abstract whether your results, you have mentioned the results, your findings, and its implications. And have you compared all that to your previous research? Now the challenge is how to find the previous research. There is a final part of the presentation, Mendeley. So our agenda A is clear, how to find a title. I hope all of you have roughly written a tentative title. 2, I hope you have written 1 or 2 keywords. 3, you have an idea of writing an abstract. Maybe you can write later. So let me just move to practical tip. Now this is a slide. It's a take-home message. Go home, use this slide and write one sentence about all this. Then you would have written a very good abstract. That is, what is the purpose of the study? Why are you doing it? What is the background? What has already been done? What is the research problem? What has not been done? Method. What method you are using to find out the problem? Whether you are using a survey, whether you are using a qualitative method, whether you are using an experimental method, whether you are doing an intervention study, what is the method? And then what are your results? And then what are the implications of the results? Who will be benefited by the results? Will it be at the policy level? Will it be at the pedagogical level? Will it be at the technical level? Will it be? So you should talk about the implications. So write one sentence, you would have written a fantastic abstract. Your purpose, 1 line. Background of the study, 1 line. What is the research problem you have chosen, 1 line. What is the method, 1 line. What are your results, 1 line. And what are the implications, 1 line. So 1 or 2 lines each, depending on the requirements of the journal. Because you don't write more than 20 lines in an abstract. Even an Elsevier, you write only not more than 20 lines. So this is a practical tip. So I hope that you are clearly following me. I hope you have understood how to, research scholars have understood how to write the title, and then you have understood how to use the keywords and the practical tip. And I have given you a practical tip on how to write an abstract. It is like a workshop where I want you to take to a visual journey, but we can't do a workshop in 1 hour. So I'm speeding up and leaving everything to you to experiment later. So you can just read the slides further, how to still use perfect keywords. Now let us move on to IMRAD format. Introduction, methods, results, and discussion. So I'm going to discuss introduction, methods, results, discussion. Whatever field you are doing your research, regardless of your chosen field of endeavor, regardless of your discipline, regardless of your paper type, whether it is a full-length research paper or a review paper or a short communication or a meta-analytic review or a systematic review or a book review, whatever you review, whatever you write, you will follow this IMRAD format, because this is a format which is an international format expected in all journals. So in introduction, now you have a rough framework with you. Mentally, you have a framework for topic, for abstract. And now let us move on to introduction. How do you write an introduction? Now, let me explain it in detail. In your introduction, give a brief background about your study. That is, what are the previous research studies in this area, and what is the research problem you have chosen, and what is your research question, because your question is a lighthouse. For example, if I am going to do research on online, compare online and traditional education, my research question would be, what is the effect of online education on learning outcomes? So I have to frame a question, and throughout the paper, I should try to answer the question. So your introduction, you should say what people have done earlier, what is the real problem, what is the research question you have formulated. So throughout your entire IMRAD structure, your topic, your title, your references, everything you have to zero in on answering your research question. Research question is like a lighthouse. Whenever you feel that you are lost in your journey and don't know the way, look at the research question. It will be a lighthouse which will guide you. Looking at references, what should I refer? Look at the research question. Is my literature very much pertinent to my research question? So research question is like a lighthouse. You are doing some background studies. Look at your research question. Look at the keywords in the research question. Pick out only those areas for research. Because with the kind of a humongous research that we have today, when you start doing a literature review, you have to do for a lot of years and you will never know when to stop. So make sure that in your introduction, your research question will guide you throughout the study. So your introduction should talk about a brief background, what is the problem you are addressing, and your research questions. And then you will focus on what are the other studies published based on that research question. You will do a review of only that papers. That is called as focused systematic review. You can't, for example, online education. If I'm going to make a review as a PhD scholar, if I am searching online education in Google or Mendeley or in Scopus or Web of Science, I may get 1 million searches in online. I will never complete my review. But on the other hand, if I type a comparative study of traditional online instruction, because that is my research question, you will get only maybe some 100 to 200 papers. Based on that, you should do the review. That is the simplest way to do your review. So all these things should be in your introduction. So I hope that you have understood how to write the first part of your paper, which is actually the introduction. I think I'm just running out of time. Let me just rush through. So introduction is one of the most important aspects of your research paper. Let's move on to methods. Now, to just give you and time again, I would just like to recap what I have done, because only then it will be easy for you to follow. I think initially we focused on, regardless of the paper you write, how to write a suitable title, how to use the perfect keywords in your title. A. B. How to write, after writing a title, how to write correct keywords for your research. C. How to write a good abstract. I have given you a template for writing an abstract. Now, fourth, we are moving on to how to write an introduction. I have discussed with you how to write an introduction. And I will also give you a template on how to write an introduction by the end of the presentation, by the end of the slide. Let us move on to methods. Okay, let us say, because I can't interact you and find out what is your research area and place my discussions on the ambit of your research, since that is not possible, I will take a common area today, which is very much spoken about. Let us use online teaching as our research agenda. So the fact is, if my research area is a kind of an online instruction, okay, I have written my introduction. Now I should choose my method. Dear friends, you should only choose your method. Your method should be focused. Many times the mistake that researchers make is they actually start their topic, they do the review, they look at some papers, and they actually choose a random method. But you should spend a lot of time in choosing a method for your research. Again, methods workshop is a very comprehensive one. Let me try to crystallize those ideas in 5 minutes. See, there are different kinds of methods. One is qualitative designs. Okay, qualitative design is only based on interviews with the participants, based on maybe a kind of one-to-one sessions or classroom observation, or to go and observe what people are doing in a lab and document what they are doing, it will all come under qualitative. But qualitative research is usually done only from the researchers in the social sciences domain. And then quantitative research, especially in STEM education, intervention research, they will take two groups, group A, group B. One group, you test traditional method. Another group, you test online method. So it's a kind of an experimental study, which is quantitative. Or you can prepare a survey questionnaire, which is quantitative method. Or you can conduct an intervention study. But the objective in quantitative studies, you will use a lot of statistical tools to quantify the answer of your research question. For example, as I told you earlier, if my research is a comparative study of online and traditional education, and if I have found in my research that online education has better learning outcomes, how do I actually quantify it? What are the tools I use? Do I use R analysis? Do I use SPSS? In SPSS, do I use a PAT t-test? What is the exact statistical analysis I am using? So those things will come under quantitative analysis. Mixed methods approach is a combination of both qualitative and quantitative. So your method exclusively depends on the kind of research that you choose. For example, as I said, a comparative study of online education and traditional education. For this thing, a qualitative study will not work. Why it will not work? The journals will not accept. Simply if I say, I conducted an interview with 100 students and they all feel that the online classrooms are better, I can show it, but the journal will not be convinced. I should show them proof. I should show them the proof of their test results. I should show them the proof of the marks before and after. I should show them the marks of traditional classrooms and the online classrooms. I should show them the statistics. What is the level of improvement in terms of P level? What is the T value before and after? So if you use such complicated strategies, I will not call complicated, research-based empirical strategies, then you are doing a quantitative study. Quantitative, it should be measurable. It should be quantifiable. Let me tell you one thing, friends. 90% of the journals, when you are doing your PhD research, it all depends on your research guide and your field. But when you are writing for top-notch journals, which actually has a better H index, again, if you go for Scopus, you will understand there are 4 classifications: Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Q4 journals you can easily publish in those journals because the time is also a little less. And then you have Q3 journals. But if you look at Q2 and Q1, it has impact factor of more than 1. And most of these journals expect only quantitative studies or mixed methods. So let me come to the point. Choose what you want. Choose what you want. Choose your methods. Choose your research. Don't fit in any method into your research. Don't choose in any method. Your method should exactly fall in line with your research question. Only then your research will be successful. Or else, definitely you can't publish. Probably you can go for a paid publication in some journal. But the greatest trouble in some scholars going for paid publication is sometimes they go to a Scopus journal and they just publish. The next year, if you see, they remove it from Scopus database. So if you want to go for good quality journals, you should follow these benchmarks. So that is called as use a great design, called as a quantitative design or a mixed methods design. Now let me come to practical tip. Let me come to practical tip. The practical tip is go to any highly indexed journal. After deciding that this is the journal you want to publish, look at highly cited papers in the journal, paper with maximum citations. And then in the journal, look at best paper awards. There are even LCVA journal, every journal has best papers of 2019, highly read papers, highly cited papers. Download those papers from the journal that you want to publish. Focus on the patterns. Look at the methods that the researcher has used. Try to apply those methods. Practical tip 1. Practical tip 2. Elsevier has published 2 important documents. One important document is guideline for qualitative research. How you should carry out a qualitative research. If your area is qualitative research, download the document, see the document carefully. There is another document called how to carry out quantitative research. Then look at that document, and in that document, there are benchmarks. Follow the benchmarks. So similarly, you look at these kind of benchmarks and then choose your design. Then you will be highly successful. Third important tip, why we are not able to publish. This is about the language, though it is not the agenda. See, if you go to the website of British Journal of Educational Technology, there is a 8-page document. That document is an entire guideline for Asian writers. How should Asian writers focus on the language aspects? It's a very simple guideline given by the British Journal, because sometimes people will say this journal is biased. They don't publish from Asia. It's one of the most, what do you call, a naive comment. You should not say that, because anyway, the publisher will not know which country the paper is coming from. Because when they send it to the peer editors, they will remove the country, they will remove the author's name. So they don't have bias. So choose these 3 documents. Document 1, guidelines for qualitative research. Document 2, guidelines for quantitative research. Guideline 3, guidelines for Asian researchers. You should have these 3 documents with you before you do your research. So my take-home message, I would like to focus only on take-home messages. My take-home message is simple. Choose a method based on the journal you want to communicate. Look at highly cited papers. See how you can fit in the design. Then probably you can even talk with your guide, talk with highly professional people about the design, and especially to a statistician if you choose quantitative study, because I'm going to choose the design. This is the kind of results which are reported in that cited paper. I'm using that as a sample paper. Can I use these statistics? So check out that. This is how you should choose a method. So by the end of the talk, I'll give you, if there is time, I'll give you a practical framework for method. Now, I'm just going to give you a small activity where you mentally do it later after the session. What kind of research methods are you going to select? A. B. Why do you think that your research method is best suited to a research question? If you are convinced at the second answer, choose that method. If you are not convinced, change the method. Simple. So this is my take-home message. So every slide, I would just like to focus on a take-home message. So then let us focus on the results and discussion. How to focus on results and discussion. So I want you to, we are talking about IMRAD. So introduction, how to write an introduction, how to write a methods we have discussed. Now results and discussion, RAD. I have put everything in a single slide. How your results section should be, what you should discuss in the discussion section, because some researchers confuse both. So I've just tabulated it for you. The research section should only answer your research question, but the discussion section, you will talk about the implications. So finally, when there is time, we will come back to this slide and discuss. Or if there is no time, if you read, I have given it in a very simple format. I have also given what tends to use in discussion, what tends to use in results, how to use tables and figures. I have mentioned everything in a single slide. Later, if there is time, we can come to it. Or else, no problem. If you read, you can clearly understand what the slide says. So how to use tables and figures in a research paper also will come back, because I want to now focus on Mendeley hands-on. I just come to that. Now, before I say that, I've just given you some extra reading sources here. Right. Now we'll go to reference management, because that seems to be the substance of another important agenda of our talk. See, reference management. Why should you first of all use reference management? I'll tell you, just take 2 minutes time to tell you why we use reference management. We can, as I said, we don't manually cite. We can use the reference management to identify all your perfect literature, to collect it. You can archive it as a library at one place. You can organize it based on alphabet. You can create citations. You can retrieve whenever you want to. You can properly acknowledge the sources. So you can cite it both inside the text and after the end. That is another reason. But another important reason is, let us say you write a paper to a journal and you are following an IEEE format. And let's say your paper is rejected and comes back to you. Now you are choosing another prestigious journal, and that journal is asking for a Harvard format. Now immediately you can change the format if you have the reference manager. Entirely change the format. So we are just going to discuss how we are going to do all that. Now there are a lot of tools. We have very important tools like Zotero. We have EndNote. But why I prefer Mendeley? I find Mendeley to be a one-stop solution, because there are no fringes attached to it. Because it's not it's an open source software. You need not pay for it. No fringes attached to it. It supports on all operating systems, whether it is and Windows or a Mac, and again supports all browsers, whether it is a Google browser or Mozilla or Windows Edge or Opera. It supports all browsers. And another great thing is you can even have a mobile version. Like even if you don't have an internet connectivity, you can also have all your data offline and see the data offline. So you have a desktop version. And for all your Word documents alone, you have a storage capacity of 1 GB. And another thing is, it is a crowdsourced database. I will tell you what crowdsourced database is during the presentation. I will show you that, what I mean by crowdsourced database. And suppose you are so far using Mendeley, or so far you have been using EndNote, or so far you have been using Zotero. Now, if you want to use Mendeley, you can import all that into your Mendeley. So it's a one-stop solution for your different styles. So 2 minutes take time, and I'll tell you about the installation process, and then we will go hands-on. Installation process simple. Download Mendeley desktop. Step 2, it will ask you to run the software. Run the software. Simple elementary messages. Next. Accept the license agreement and go to the next page. And give yes. You will have the desktop Mendeley icon on the desktop. After you complete the process, finally you will have this kind of screen called as welcome to Mendeley. You can see now it will ask you to sign in with your email and password. So now we will go hands-on and let me show you how this Mendeley works. Okay, before I use Mendeley, let me actually use a simple Word document. I'll open my Mendeley. So this is Mendeley. After you log in, your Mendeley will look like this. I'll show you some of the features. Whatever files I refer, I have a lot of files in Google Drive. I may have lot. As a researcher, when I did my PhD, I used to have different folders at different places. To clearly locate and acknowledge has always been an insurmountable, cumbersome task for me. But when I found this Mendeley, I just have everything in cloud. When I don't have an internet connection, I can have offline version also, and I can cite. So wherever you go, you can have this as your scripture for you. So this is how Mendeley is. We'll see some of the features. First thing in Mendeley is, as soon as you download Mendeley, it will automatically download the Word plugin. I will show you that. Suppose I have opened my Word document for research. I'll show you how it works. Okay, I have opened my Word document. Now I am going to actually do my entire research paper. Maybe let us say that my research paper is on the topic scaffolded online learning in technological environments. This is my topic. Okay, so what I do is I have written my abstract. So I have written my keywords. For example, I have written 2 keywords. I'll show you the keywords. I'll highlight the keywords. So I have given 2 keywords. Now my literature review is going to be based on these 2 keywords. I have to make a lot of literature review. There will be thousands of documents on online education, technological environment. Now, whenever I make a search, I will import all my documents in Mendeley. So Mendeley, now what happens is, now I'm going to, I have my keywords here. Now I'm going to write my introduction. Okay, I'm going to cite. I will show you this. Now my site is my research is on online learning. I can't say that there is already a lot of research in online learning. I can't say that. I should show. So I'm just typing, there has already been a lot of research on online. Okay, I'm just giving you this comment. But now what I want to go to your Word document and click references. Now you can see an icon. There are 2 icons. Automatically, whenever you download this Word document, look where my cursor is. There is an option called insert citation. Okay, and there is an option called open Mendeley. Now what I'm just going to do is, I am going to insert a citation. What is my citation? I need citations based on scaffolded online learning. I need citation based on technological environment. So I'm just going to go and keep my cursor here because I'm talking about online education. I'm doing a lot of review on that. Now let us say I'm doing a review. So I'm just going here and I'm just going to insert citation. Okay, in the insert citation box, let's say, yeah, my insert citation, I am going to type in my keyword. I can just copy and paste it, or I'm just going to type in my keyword. My keyword is scaffolded, S-C-A-F, scaffolded online learning. So I have just clicked this. Now, if I click OK here, you could see it is formatting citation. It will take some time to format. See, the in-text has come here. My in-text, whatever the author has said, my in-text is in APA format here. You can choose any format. I should have brought this to the end. Okay. So automatically it has given me the in-text. Now I want a full reference. Now scaffolded online learning. Now I'm just going to Mendeley again. Okay, and I'm just going to type scaffolded. See, there is scaffolded. When I type the keyword, I'm just giving scaffolded online learning modules. Now, if I right click and copy as formatted citation, I will get the entire reference for that. I can just paste my references. So this is how you actually do your review of literature. So whatever you want in-text cite, again, if I want to show you in-text citation, just type in name of the author. For example, you can even search by author's name, Abdullah. See, there is a paper from Abdullah. So you can just select this Abdullah, say, okay, from the Mendeley library, because you sometimes want to search a particular author. So it will take you to that particular author. See, so you have all the authors. A search results, your author results will come. Probably I have not uploaded the paper here. That is why it's not showing. So you can use it as an library base to import your documents. So automatically, the first step is when you install the Word plugin, you can, if you want to do insert citation, click insert citation and use insert. If you want to do end references, open Mendeley. For example, if you want to cite any author, see, there are different formats. As I said, American Medical Association, Psychological Association, Chicago Manual, but I am choosing APA manual, APA style. So if I want APA style, go to APA style. So this is what I want, APA style. See, I'm just clicking all documents. Now I am typing online learning. And if I search now online learning, I will get all my documents on online learning. But probably there is only one document here. So I click this, I copy the citation. In which format you want? Do you want in MLA format or LaTeX citation? When you right click, it will ask you whether it is you want it in LaTeX or MLA or whatever. Then automatically I'll bring it to my references and I will put it in my reference. So there is no chance for any error because you can change the format. I can click this and change into IEEE format. In text also I can change. So this is how Mendeley works. Mendeley Word works. So Mendeley Word automatically when you go to review, you have open Mendeley, you have insert citation, two options. Using these two options, you can build your references. Now let me go to other important features of Mendeley. Let us just go to file. Okay. Now there is a look at these options. Now you can add files, you can add a folder. I'm doing my PhD research. And in my PhD research, I have one folder for introduction. I may have one folder for review of literature, one folder for methods. In the methodology folder, I will have papers only related to methodology. In my review of literature paper, I will have papers only for review of literature. So what you have to do is name your folder in the desktop. Folder 1, introduction. Folder 2, review of literature. Folder 3, methodology. Have those papers and add those folders here. I will show you an example. It is just like attaching a file. Just add files. See, I have reviewed a document. Now I want to attach a file from my desktop. I want to attach. I want to import it to my library. So I'm just going to my desktop. I have a lot of research paper. I have books. I'm doing a research currently on internet education about the impact of CUI, Community of Inquiry Framework. I searched a lot of papers and identified papers. From my desktop, I'm clicking this. Automatically, now the paper is imported into my library. If I want citation for this, I can copy as. What citation? What citation? Is it a formatted citation, LaTeX citation command, BibTeX entry, or formatted citation? I just copy as and go and paste it in my document. Similarly, you do in text, as I told you in a Word. So this is how you arrange your library. Simple tool. You can add files, you can add folder or watch folder. Another important option I'll tell you about this. Watch folder is, suppose you have folder in your desktop, okay, and you sometimes you need not import into Mendeley, but when you add folders in your desktop, whenever you have internet connection in your Mendeley library, automatically whatever you keep it in your computer, it will take it in its library. So you can watch folder. All right. There is a great limitation in Mendeley. You can cite journals like this, but Mendeley does not cite internet resources. Mendeley does not cite books. For that, how to cite books? Add entry manually. You have an option here, add entry manually. Click that add entry manually. Just go. For example, you are going to cite a book. Book automatically, Mendeley will not read a book. So I'm just typing my name. I'm my book. Just I'm typing just for a sample. Okay. The next thing is I'm just going to abstract. This book is on. So tags. What are my keywords? Similarly, what are my keywords? So after typing everything, which city, where is my book published? Was it published in Chennai or Bangalore? If it's an Indian publisher or if it's an international publisher, is it US or UK? So enter all your details manually. And when you save, because I have not entered all the fields due to paucity of time, if you enter all the fields and save, automatically you will have a citation and Mendeley library will read it. So this is how you cite manually. This is called as add entry manually. Again, as I said, you can import. Suppose you have already been doing your references in EndNote or Zotero. From your Zotero library, you can import everything. Or probably you want, suppose you have another session on Zotero, I presume. You are comfortable with Zotero. Some of you have already been working on Mendeley. You want to export everything from Mendeley to Zotero, you have export option. So synchronize library. So you have to explore. It's all self-exploration, very simple. But let me tell you some important tools, like, how to find documents. Find documents is like, like finding. Here, type in your keyword here and it will show you the document. And then some important features alone, I will tell you, not all the features. And then creating a new group. This is a very important thing. I want to show you how to create a group. This is a very, very important feature in Mendeley. Now, I told you that this is a crowdsourcing software. Mendeley is actually a crowdsourcing software. When I say crowdsourcing software, some of you would have already, there are a lot of strategies to market your research and receive citations. To do that, I'm sure that some of you would already be in ResearchGate. It's like a Facebook for researchers. You will know who are the people who are doing research in your area. I'm sure you're also familiar with academia. Similarly, you can do the same thing in Mendeley. For example, if my research is on blended learning, I can type blended learning. I can create a group. I can describe a group. This group is exclusively for blended learning. I can make the group public. I can make it private. I can create a group. Now, in Mendeley, there are, millions of researchers. Whoever is doing research on that area will be in your group. You can actually communicate with them. You can ask them any queries. You can also come out with a collaborative paper later. You can do some kind of a collaborative research. So that is why I call this as a kind of a crowdsourcing database. A crowdsourcing database. So you can use this option, go to this edit option, and you can use it to create groups, create new research groups. Use the same feature that you use it for ResearchGate and Academia platform. You can use. And then how much time do I have? Just running out of time. I'll very quickly tell you some other important features. And then view as citations. Library citation style. This is what I told you. See how many citation styles are there. You have American Medical Association style, Political Association, APA style, ASA style, Chicago Manual, IEEE, Harvard, IEEE, MLA 3rd to 8th edition. Nature journals have a separate format called the Nature format. And then more styles. If you want more styles, click to more styles and choose more styles. Update is available for all styles. But I want to tell you one important thing here. Actually, all the researchers are arguing that why should we have so many styles? Why can't we have one style universally for all researchers? Actually, they are working on that. But since there are a lot of styles, you can choose your own style, whatever style it is there. And similarly, if your paper gets rejected, you need not rework on your paper. So this is about how you use this option of citation style and toolbars. Tools. Not only researchers, you can also invite your colleagues. You can see here, invite colleagues. And then install web importer. Web importer automatically will be installed. If you install your software, it will automatically involve, there is a question here. Okay, I will answer the question at last. You have install web importer and install MS Word plugin. Automatically these things will be updated, because only when you have Word plugin, how to find out that? When you open your Word document, there is an option here, open Mendeley, and there is an option, insert citation. Okay, open Mendeley, insert. These two icons will automatically disappear. Will appear after you import or install Mendeley. So after you install, you should naturally have these options. That is called, Word plugin. Word plugin. You do not do anything special, because it automatically imports the Word plugin. These are some of the important features. And then you have more tools to invite your colleagues. And finally, I just would like to end bang on time, because I don't want to eat into the other person's time. See, finally, help. Whatever I told you, some elementary steps for it. You have Mendeley website. You have frequently asked questions here. You have contact supports. Now and then you have updates for Mendeley. You can reset your Mendeley desktop. See, everything. There is a question, which one is a better tool? I'll come back to it at last. So these are some of the important features of Mendeley. I think I'm just bang on, and I just want to have some time for questioners. So organizers, can I wrap up on time and have more room for questions?
Yes, sir.
Fine,
exactly. We can. Yes, sir. We can give some time for answering the questions posted by our participants.
Of course, sir. I would love to answer it, sir. Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Only problem is they have posted in both the categories, chat box as well as question and answer box, both. Yes.
Can somebody moderate the question, sir? Moderate the question.
Yes, sir.
I'll do.
Yes, please, Vidya. Vidya, take care of chat box.
Chat, yes, sir. I'll start the chat. Sir, how to manage reference in Mendeley when we are working on different papers simultaneously?
When you're working, I'm sorry, man. When you're working.
How to manage reference in Mendeley when we are working on different papers simultaneously?
Yeah, sure. When you work on different papers, definitely for each paper, you will have a specific name. For instance, if you're working on a paper on blended learning, it will have a separate name. Suppose if you're working on another paper on dyslexia, that will have a different name. So it is as simple as a Word document. Based on the name of the document, whenever you open that Word document, for that search, you're going to insert citation. So the citations will be inserted only for that keyword search. So it's very simple. File your name based on your research. Either file it in blended learning, file it dyslexia, file it online learning, name it. It's as simple as naming the folders. I hope that answers your question. Yes.
Which one is better, EndNote or Mendeley, as this has not a preference feature and limited reference style?
Okay, limited reference style. Okay. I personally feel, because to tell you frankly, I haven't explored all the features of EndNote, though I have sporadically used EndNote. But the reason why I prefer Mendeley As I said, it is actually a one-stop solution because it supports all browsers. And not only that, the terrific feature of collaborating with other researchers and to know what others are doing and to use this as a kind of a crowdsourcing platform, there is an optimal opportunity in Mendeley. So I personally feel if you do collaborative research, Mendeley will be a one-stop solution. But if you are using only for reference purposes and not doing any collaborative research, then it all depends on how user-friendly you feel the tool is. The simple strategy, try both the tools, look at the options and decide yourself. Ultimately, I think that's a perfect solution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any benchmark for an adequate length of an abstract?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is quite a focused and targeted question. I think as far as abstract is concerned, the APA International Association gives you benchmarks for everything. Similarly, they also give you a benchmark for abstract. But the best way to read a benchmark is we should go to the journal that we are going to publish. Look at the guidelines of that particular journal and read the abstract of that particular journal. See the ideal length of that journal and follow that requirements. So that is the benchmark. Though there is an international benchmark, we need not follow the international benchmark. You should follow the particular journal's benchmark that you want to publish. Go to the journal's homepage and look at the requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So how can we change the citation style for all the references at once?
At once, you can actually, what you can do is, it's not going to take much time where you can't do everything at once. That's not possible. You have to click every in-text and right click and then change the citation style. You can't do it, overall. Because I think a negligible percentage of people will change the citation style. For example, IEEE, most of the journals they are going to publish in IEEE. Even if it is rejected, they're again going to go for that. So it's only 0.001% of people who will change the citation styles and publish to an altogether different domain. So it hardly happens. If at all it happens, you don't have an option to change it overall. You have to do only per citation. Click per citation, change the citation style. Even if it is 50 citations, it's going to take only 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that. Yeah. Thank you.
Can we create a group for public mental health issues?
Yes, as far as Mendeley is concerned, regardless of your chosen field of endeavor, as I say, there are millions of researchers who are in Mendeley for every domain specificity for every domains. So definitely for your domain, there will be a lot of researchers. And another simplest thing is if you go to ResearchGate or Academia, you will find a lot of researchers. In the same way, if you go to Mendeley, you will definitely find a research group for mental health as well. Most definitely. I don't have an iota of doubt about that. You'll definitely find. Thank you, ma'am.
Sometimes when we add a paper in Mendeley, it doesn't pick up the correct details of the paper. Is there any other option besides correcting it manually?
Yes, there are options. Actually, the reason is sometimes you could have uploaded duplicates. When you upload duplicates, it gets confused. For example, there are two authors with the name Abdullah, and he has published two papers. So I have encountered this problem. You publish two papers, but two different titles. But sometimes it gets confused. So you just got to double check whenever you have these cases. And in that case, you can just manually cross check and ensure that it is perfect and then change it. But it only happens in rare cases, not in all the cases. But as you rightly said, yes, sometimes it happens, but you should only manually check. But it happens very, very rarely. And remove duplicates. Another option is you just go same file in the same name, same topic you would have uploaded twice. Remove duplicates before you cite it. This is another option. Thank you.
So you have told about creating group which can be made public and private, and we can use it as medium of research with those of same interest. My question is, can we refer the document that is uploaded by others from this group?
Yeah, you should not breach the copyright issues. There are always copyright guidelines, especially if the researcher has openly, given the paper in an open platform or a kind of an, in that case, you can use it. But if it is in a closed index journal, then definitely you can't. Now you know that every researcher using Ski Hub, where people pay, hundreds or dollars to purchase one paper. Same paper today, I can go to Ski Hub, crack a paper and download it and import to Mendeley and cite it. That is possible. But you will run into a lot of trouble when you share such information because you don't have rights. Of course, you don't have the rights to go to Ski Hub and crack it. But again, it's a personal thing. Nobody is going to do that. You are cracking the paper from Ski Hub. You are citing it. So you can do that for your personal use, but definitely not others' paper. You can't put it publicly when it is a closed access. Definitely you will run into a lot of trouble. Your institution may even fire you. If you are a researcher, this is a level 1 plagiarism. They might even take actions against you. So it's against copyright issues. So I request you to please read the copyright guidelines. Please don't ever do. Yes.
Is there any flexibility in research report acceptance?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Is there any flexibility in research report acceptance?
Okay, flexibility in research report acceptance. No flexibility. Got to follow the absolutely perfect highest standards of benchmark. And as I said, there is a rubric. I will tell you the simplest tip. I have been giving practical tips for everything. Whatever you do, there is a kind of a rubric. Rubric means whatever is expected. If it's a report, for example, I am from the education technology background, and I go to a particular site called TESOL Research Agenda, where I have a rubric. When I write a report, how much marks for the topic, what is expected, how much marks for an report style, what are the things expected. So just like evaluating a paper, they will give you the split up of marks and they will evaluate your report out of 100. So do you score? And similarly, for chemists also, there is a kind of, platform like that. So there are professional platforms. So there is no flexibility. You have to follow the benchmarks. So that's the answer that I can give. No flexibility at all when it comes to higher standards of writing.
So can you please suggest some good sites from where we can get thesis to review apart from Shodhganga?
Apart from Shodhganga, definitely ProQuest. ProQuest is one thesis database where you can find a lot of data. But sometimes when you don't get in ProQuest, then definitely you got to get membership in public libraries like American Consulate, where I think now they just give you that online option as well. You just pay for membership and get into not only ProQuest, to all European country databases, and you can download their research. But as of now, I believe the simplest solution is to go for a ProQuest database. There are a lot of free theses. Besides Shodhganga, that is a one-stop solution. ProQuest thesis. ProQuest thesis database.
How much online or cloud storage is allowed in Mendeley? Which of the reference manager software offers the largest online space?
Yes, as far as Mendeley is concerned, it just gives you 1 GB. And believe me, 1 GB to store all your documents is quite humongous. You can just store so much of data because it's not, you're not going to support your audio files or your video files, only your documents, and 1 GB is enough. And across platforms is 1 GB, across platforms. But still, I can't answer the second part of your question because I haven't explored. Maybe make a Google search and find out which has the most highest number of space. But personally, I feel 1 GB is more than enough. But frankly speaking, I don't know about EndNote or Zotero how much they give. But Mendeley gives 1 GB of free space.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for such a wonderful, knowledgeable session. May I now call upon Dr.S. Manivanan to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayakumar, sir. Excellent session. Really, we all are happy. Most of the scholars, not most, 100% of the scholars who have attended got satisfaction. Really give excellent idea about how to share our technical content to journals. That is the most important job. Doing agriculture is not important. Bringing back that harvest, what happened in the field to the home is the most important job. So doing experiment in the laboratory is not a big issue. And reporting the experimentation to the journals and taking approval, taking acceptance from the journal, taking a grant from the funding agencies is the most important job than doing the experimentation. Really, your session has helped us in taking idea how to write from abstract to the results and discussion, from Mendeley to the hands-on. Really, you give the entire idea. Really, I am unfortunate to for giving the little sessions, say for example 1 hour, that was not really sufficient for you to address the entire aspects. I pardon for this, but next time we will go for the entire 2 days, something like that, for this entire Mendeley. Of course, with this little input also, if our research scholars are doing the exercise with this referencing style and structuring the paper, surely I am 100% sure they will come out with a very good progress, very good submission. They need not to depend on the predatory journals. They can go for the classy journals like Elsewhere and Springer. After publishing my Elsewhere and Springer paper only, my guide in the year 2007, I am telling, he told me to sit down in front of him. So that is the respect what we can get from our teaching community or say colleagues. So publishing is really an art, and with your all input, our research scholars can do wonderful job in future. Really, we are thankful to you, sir. Kindly accept our thanks. Our registrar is yes, sir. Registrar has given an appreciation letter also. This credit, total credit goes to you. Because of the input, we have modeled the entire over to a mega plan, say, for example, 7 days of workshop. Otherwise, it would have stuck with only 2 days when we had a earlier discussion. We are really thankful to you, sir, and we welcome you for the future events also. Thanks for sharing your wonderful knowledge. Please keep on doing. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's been quite an humbling experience.
Thank you very much, sir.
And yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. And
Yes.
I
Thank you, sir.
share the metaphor. Thank you, everybody, ma'am. Thank you, Vidya,
So
ma'am.
much,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank you,
Manivandan,
sir.
sir. Thank you, Ashwini, ma'am. Thank you, Ganesha. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We have our session 2 speaker.